pressure is blocking anything from going into the southeast. And you'll notice that we've got really warm air going way up into places like Chicago and Minneapolis as we show you some of these graphics moving into the next several days or so. In fact, this is what we have for Waterloo heading into the day on Monday. So you get all the way up there to Iowa, which is around 80 degrees.
All right, I'm in a hotel in Gatlinburg. This is a Twilight Zone episode. So I'm working down through my video diary, and I've reached this right here. This is a new phone here, so I can switch it around for some reason. It's easier to do. I'm going to switch it around. Oh, it's still videoing. And I've reached Monday 4/6, day 19, Stagecoach Gap, 150.8 mile. I shuttled to buy a phone, but that's all. I did a 0 day. Now that's all that's there. I have no video footage of that day. There's no flyby over, and there's nothing. The phone died. And what happened? Back around. Let me turn this down. So this, well, put it on. All right, I was watching the weather. So it was pouring down rain, and that's Monday, day 19. And I was coming down in that gap, and right now it's 1 o'clock, 5 days later. So this is future me. You're in the Twilight Zone. This is future me talking about Monday on the 6th. And when I was hiking down in that gap, it was pouring down rain. I slipped on a big old granite slab rock that goes down. I should have squatted down on my haunches and sat and scooted down it, but I didn't. And I did the splits. I'm lucky I didn't pull a handspring. But I ripped my rain pants in half on the rocks. I tumbled down. I landed, I know how to land. I twisted, so I landed on my pack. Pack protected me. And I rolled off my pack into some mud and rocks. The phone got wet, but I was having issues before I left with that port on that phone. I don't know why. I should have changed out. I should have got a new phone. But anyway, I got down to the gap, and I decided since I got everything wet the day before, setting up in the rain, I thought I'd go into that hostel. And I'm glad I did and made that decision. I went to charge my phone, and it would not charge. I tried everything, different plugs. The guy at the hostel finally, he told me, I said, so the phone died. I said, well, he'd shuttle me to Franklin with a Verizon store, which is lucky because if I'd have got to Fontana with my plans, if I didn't stop there, I'd have been committed to Fontana Dam, and Fontana Village would have been a longer shuttle. So it cost me $70 to get to the Verizon store. That's how much the shuttle cost. Plus I'm staying at the guy's place for $40 a bunk or whatever. And ended up, it cost me staying there a couple days. I'd stay there a couple days, and with the shuttle and everything, like $175. But that's one thing or another. That's stuff that happens. I should have had that taken care of, but here's what happened. When I get to the Verizon store, and I decided, well, I'm just going to buy me a good phone. Well, that's what I was going to do for 11. That'd be I'll just buy that 1125. And well, on these new phones, they don't support an SD cards. All right, they want you to pay for their memory, and they had a 1/4 terabyte on their phones. I said, well, I want the one with a terabyte. I'll take an S25 with a terabyte. And they said, well, we don't have it. We're going to have to order that. We only carry the quarter terabyte. I said, well, shoot, I'll be out of that. I don't think that'd be enough. And right now I can get an SD card for $99, half a terabyte at Walmart. That's what I got in the card. I was like, what's the best phone you got? What's the next phone you got that can support an SD card? So the next one, it was an A17. And it's just giant. It don't even fit in my phone case. But I bought it because it supports SD card. And now all the phones now, they don't have SIM cards that are interchangeable. They're all embedded SIM cards. So the guy left. It was taking so long. So I had to transfer all the data, since they can't take the SIM card out, from that phone to the other. All the memory, all that stuff had to be transferred. And for a Verizon store, their Wi-Fi wasn't very good. It took hours for it to happen. The guy that shuttled me, he just left. He'd come back, pick me up, charge me another $70. He'd come back and pick me up. So now I'm buying a $240 phone. Now here's the killer. It would have cost another $50 just to change the port out, and by a technician to change the port out in the old phone. But the shuttle to get to the technician, and I don't even know if he could have got that to me today, would have been another $50 to get shuttled over there. So I'm ended up paying more for the shuttling than I am for the phone, what it amounts to. So I just went ahead and bought that new phone. And now I got two phones I got to tote. And since the way it transfers, because you can't change the SIM cards, the way it transfers, she said the phones are going to take a couple days to settle. Let's settle. Yeah, it's got to settle. All the apps on my phone, I had to figure out the passwords. It was driving me crazy. I was going nuts. Everything wasn't working on the phone. It wouldn't even. It took it a day before it even changed over where the old phone wasn't ringing no more. I mean, just crazy stuff. And the new phone was ringing. I said, well, it's great. And my apps wouldn't change over. The app that tells me where I'm on the trail, it was still on the old phone, and it was prompting me that I had to pay for it on the new phone. You know, I mean, luckily that changed over when I started the trail the next day. It changed over. So, but I'm toting it over, so everything's good now on the phone. I finally figured it all out. All my apps, CapCut out, everything's working. This will be the first day tomorrow when I go out on the Flyby app. So, but anyway, that whole day, I shuttled, got the new phone, and just the headache. I stayed at this hostel. There's no footage because the phone wasn't working. And then even when I got the phone back, I couldn't get it. You know, everything wasn't working. It took me a while. I mean, I had to go through every feature in the phone, like from scratch again. It was just a big headache. And it's the whole thing. It's whenever you go from the SIM card to the embedded SIM card. You know, that's where it's pain in the butt. All the info from the SIM card to the embedded SIM card. And I don't know. I should have had that taken care of before I left. I was gonna buy me a good phone, that S25, that ultra good phone. I had the great camera before I left. I decided not to do it because I try to be so, what do you call it, practical. If I don't need it, why buy it? You know, and I can do this. Now this new phone, the battery's great in it. I think it takes better pictures. It's a bigger phone. We'll see. But anyway, that's all I got. So that was Monday, April 6th, day 19. Stagecoach Gap, stuck at mile 150.8, and that whole day. But the guy was pretty cool. His name was Craig. He owned the place up there, and you can see on the flyover. It didn't have the flyover. He picks me up at the road, and you can see it follows the road up, and then it goes up there to his cabins. And he had a couple cabins on his property, and he's got frozen pizzas like they all do. These guys that run these hostels, they're making money, and they give you frozen pizza. That, you know, you go down there. He's got it in the cabin down there. Had 4 bunks for 4 people could sleep. You just they got a little pizza oven. Throw the frozen pizza in there, and you take a shower. You know, you clean up. He had a washer and dryer, but I get there and his washer was broke, so I couldn't wash my clothes. But everything was wet from the rain, so I dried them. So it's kind of weird. I had dry clothes and they felt good, but they smelled. You know? But you can't expect everything, right? And that was there. So that's that video. And that's all there is to it. We'll pick it back up at day 20.